Hi everyone, it's Don once again with another video for you. This is video number 144, and in this video we're going to stay focused on the south end of the villages, the new construction that's happening down here, mainly because of the poor weather that we've had for the last week. It's been nice, but with the high winds and the rain, it's made it a little difficult to get the drone in the air to get some shots that you'd be interested in. But that's okay, because I've got lots to show you here at the south end. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's start this video off at the very south end with the Shallow Creek Championship Golf Course opening this week. The Shallow Creek Golf Course Clubhouse is on Landstone Boulevard, just south of Bar Boulevard. It's opening this week. The restaurant Boosters that's being built with it is not yet open, and no date has been announced yet on when it will, but it should be relatively soon. This 18-hole championship golf course winds its way through the villages of Moultrie Creek and Shadybrook. The clubhouse and restaurant has a very modern look to it with lots of sharp and unusual angles. It will definitely be interesting to see what the interior looks like when it opens. The restaurant and clubhouse face due south, but it has a very deep and expansive outdoor patio area, which should help with keeping things a little more pleasant in the afternoons after you complete your round of golf. The land that the Shallow Creek Country Club is built on was for decades a very large pasture land for some ranches. It's now been turned into a golf course, and from what I can see from the air, it looks relatively flat, so it will be interesting to see how they make this more challenging. Obviously, they've put in a lot of water and traps to help with that goal. I'll find out that for sure, as I have a tee time on Friday to play the course before it opens to the general public on Sunday. The cart paths on this section of the course start to look like a bowl of spaghetti. It'll be interesting to see the signage to keep you going in the right direction. The section of homes right ahead is the Street of Dreams. That's the showroom and showcase for the floor plans that are available for homes here in the villages. On the left is the cart barn, and I'm sure they're going to get quite a bit of use out of the carts there, as it's a pretty long trip from the north end all the way down here to this end of the villages. Let's take a look now at the two villages that surround the Shallow Creek Country Club, Moultrie Creek and Shadybrook. This is one of the potable water wells and ground-level storage facilities in this area. At the south end of Moultrie Creek is the Street of Dreams, and next to it is the postal station and recreation area surrounded by some courtyard villas. This is Moultrie Creek Verandas West. Next to it is one of the first communities in Moultrie Creek that was started, Very Loop. This is hole number 7 on the north 9 of the Shallow Creek Country Club course. This is Moultrie Creek Verandas North. The main road in Moultrie Creek is McMurtry Loop. It goes by the golf course and then along the waterfront and then loops back up to Bar Boulevard. Most of the homes at the west end of Moultrie Creek are complete, and on the east end there's still a dozen or so homes that are under construction, as you can see when we get towards the end of this pond. In Moultrie Creek there are 4 sets of patio villas, some cottage homes, 1 set of courtyard villas, and 3 veranda home communities. The divider between Moultrie Creek and Shadybrook are these 2 long retention ponds that separate the two villages. Because of the time of day and the amount of ground traffic, for safety reasons, I'll fly back around the pond here and then up the 7th fairway to take a look at the last section of Moultrie Creek. As has been the norm for most of the retention ponds on this side of the Florida Turnpike, these retention ponds are very large. This one happens to be about 3/4 of a mile long from end to end. I'll fly up the 7th fairway now, almost all the way to Bar Boulevard, and on the other side of Bar Boulevard is Walkner Circle. This is a collection of designer homes. In the middle of it, there's a set of patio villas, and the section off to the right is Moultrie Creek Verandas East. At the top of the screen here again, you can see the long retention ponds that separate Moultrie Creek from Shadybrook. And as I continue to rotate around, we'll get another look at Moultrie Creek, this time from the south side looking north. Black Dog Garage Floors, the best flooring choice for your garage. 3/8 inch thick copolymer interlocking textured tiles made in the USA gives your garage that custom look everyone will love, and all for about the same price or less as those pretty paint jobs. Available in a variety of colors and installs in hours, not days. This tough, easy to clean flooring system is resistant to most solvents, battery acid, gas, oil, and moisture, and even if it does get damaged, it's easily repairable by simply replacing a tile. Black Dog Garage Floors. It's not just another pretty paint job. The partially paved road here is Marsh Bend Trail, winding its way to the southeast. Eventually, it will connect to Lake County on County Road 48. Off in the distance is the massive stockpile yard for this area. Take note of the new stockpile of the rich red clay. I'll show you later in the video where that's coming from. The 4-lane road in the upper right is Bexley Trail. It, along with McNeel Drive, eventually wind their way around, turn to the west, and meet up with County Road 471. That's going to be many years, though, in the making. This again is the Shallow Creek Golf Course, and bisecting it, this gray area, is the southernmost tip of Shadybrook. It continues all the way over to Marsh Bend Trail and across. The main road going through here on this side is Jeff Anderson, and on the north side of Barr Boulevard is Frank DiPietro Drive. It's also on the other side of Marsh Bend Trail, and it continues on until it's divided from the village of Water's Edge by once again another set of large retention ponds. Here we can see two sets of courtyard villas. The nearer set is already up for sale, and the far set on the other side of Marsh Bend Trail is still under construction and will probably be another month or so before they go up for sale. Most of the lots to the left of these courtyard villas, as we rotate around, you'll see more of them, are up for sale in the village of Shadybrook. I believe the section nearest Marsh Bend Trail will be cottage homes, and farther from Marsh Bend Trail will be designer homes. I'll fly along the retention pond now, looking both west and north, and you'll get a better idea of just how big the village of Shadybrook is going to be. As I rotate around, you're going to see some power lines. I believe that's part of the dividers. One of the things with these power lines, this is the power lines that were along 470 originally. There's going to be a long walking path underneath there, just like they have up in the village of DeLuna. For now, it looks like Shadybrook is definitely going to be one of the larger villages in this section of the Villages community. As Shadybrook continues to build out, the next village to be built is quickly underway, and that's the village of WellPoint, which is our next stop. In the village of WellPoint, they're building several new sections of homes. This is the section nearest Marsh Bend Trail. These are cottage homes. These are going to be cottage villas. You can see the walls that are up. They'll eventually install the PVC fences between the homes. The cottage villas, just like veranda homes and courtyard villas, are targeted for those individuals that have two specific needs or desires: pets and privacy. This section of homes is moving very quickly. I would not be surprised to see these go for sale sometime next month. You can see here some of the landscaping, the weird cutouts in the grass. That's for decorative landscaping. I'll rotate around now and we'll head off to the east, and you'll see the other 5 sections of homes that are being built here in WellPoint. This first set coming up is patio villas. In this next section, based on the size and the shape of the foundations, these look to be more cottage homes. Here we have some more patio villas, and on the right you can see walls for another section based on the size of the lot. Looks to be more veranda homes. On the other side of Corbin Trail is a set of courtyard villas going in. I'll rotate around now, and we'll get a look at how these relate to the village of Monarch Grove. I know there was a lot of people upset when they started work down here, but it should have been no surprise. The Villages doesn't build dead-end streets, and Corbin Trail certainly dead-ended, but you had to know it wasn't going to stay like that. Let's face it, we're not as young as we once were. Climbing those old-fashioned attic stairs to get the Christmas decorations down or to stow those family treasures is just too dangerous. Majic Stairs is the safer alternative. Real steps with safety rails at a safer angle and safety rails in the attic provide the safest attic access available. Having troubles getting things to and from the attic? The Majic Attic Lift can be there to help. Designed by Villages resident Ron Berner, every Majic Stairs and Majic Attic Lift is custom built in their Ocala, Florida factory and installed by their technicians. Why take chances? For less than the cost of one emergency room visit, you can have Majic Stairs installed in your home. Majic Stairs, the safer, more convenient alternative. We'll slide a little bit to the southeast now and take a look at the Enclave and the work going on there. The Enclave is a special section of the Villages, something that hasn't been done in about 6 years, and that's designed for premier homes. Premier homes are the much larger homes. These are much larger lots designed for these homes. According to a recent video that was put out by the Villages, you can build premier or designer homes in some of the new sections down in Shadybrook. But obviously, you got to have a big enough lot for these premier homes. If you plan on putting something like a Kings Bay or a Grandview or a Sanibel, which are some of the largest premier homes, I doubt you'll be able to put them there. However, some of the smaller premier homes are basically designer homes that have been substantially upgraded, so they'll be able to fit in most designer home lots. According to the Villages website, the Enclave is about 80% sold out. Will this be the last dedicated set of premier homes? I doubt it, but there's none on the plans that I've seen so far, but you never know what the Villages is going to do. Let's head northwest now and go up to Richmond and see the work that's going on in the new section of Richmond and Harry and the Natives. This is the new section of Richmond that's being built. I was asked during one of my live broadcasts about these walls and the trailer park and what it would look like. So I took a quick check and flyover, and I actually came down about 5 feet off the ground to see what it would look like. And yes, you'll be able to see the trailer park on the other side, and I'm sure they're just as thrilled about seeing us as you are about seeing them. But we can all still be good neighbors with each other and respect each other's privacy. So these shots were taken about where the street is at, and if you're looking in the backyard, you'll be much closer to the fence, so there'll be a lot less to see. You won't be able really to see anything over the fence other than maybe the tops of their roofs. There's actually a lot of really nice people that live in Wildwood Country Resort. I got a chance to meet a few of them a few years ago when they first started working on the Richmond area, and I was out that way flying. They were unfortunately going through some difficult times with the management company of the property, but I think they've gotten over that now. I'll take a quick flight now down to the south end, and we can see where they've paved the walking path that's going in. Something else you may not have noticed, on the very opening shot, there were some boards laying on the ground. This was shot on Saturday, and here it is Wednesday afternoon, and they have started foundations in that area. On the south side of Buena Vista, they haven't completed the walking path to cross the road, but on the north side and along Megason Road, you can see the walking path is in place. Along this section of homes right here is where they've started the foundations. This is the postal station, very similar to what they have in the Enclave. And how do we know that this is a walking path? Well, when we get up here to where it crosses this section of the road, you can see on the left the path is much narrower than the golf cart path on the right. Hence, it's a walking path.
Let's be honest, Florida retirees love their grandkids, but they don't want to give up their beautiful bonus room all year round. With a top quality Murphy bed from Murphy Bed & Office, now they can have their cake and eat it too. Our Murphy beds pull down in seconds and retract the same easy way. Murphy Bed & Office, best quality, best service, best warranty, made in the USA.
This is the work going on at Harry and the Natives, right next to the Okahumpka Recreation Center. What you see on the ground is a bunch of rebar that's going into the foundations and walls, and they're assembling it into the grids that they need to make it stronger. Because this building is being built right on the edge of a natural waterfront, the foundation has to be super strong and super thick. Coming up, you can see how big the foundation is on the waterfront side. It's huge. It's about 4 feet thick right here, and they're going to have to let it cure for a couple of days before they can continue much more work. The weather was really nice on Saturday morning when I was flying for this, as you can see from the reflection in the water. So I couldn't resist getting a nice shot of this whole area, which is really very beautiful, even with all the muck growing in the water. You may have noticed in this video, there's no maps of where I'm flying in the lower left-hand corner. The manufacturer of my drone made some software changes to try and appease the federal government with their silly laws that they're trying to pass to ban the DJI drones, and it's caused me some headaches trying to get the telemetry data, but I think I've got it figured out. I just didn't have it done in time to do this video. Here we can see the foundation and how big it is. It's definitely huge compared to a typical house. We'll drop down about 2 miles due south to Magnolia Plaza now and take a look at CVS and Fire Station 46. The walls have started going up on CVS. It won't take them but a couple of days to get them done. This was shot on Saturday morning when work was going on. It's hard to tell which is going to be the front of this CVS. On this corner coming up, you can see the columns for the canopy. But CVSs typically have a cut-off corner for the entry. And when we get around to the other side, you'll see that that wall is at a diagonal also. So which one's going to be the entry? Anybody's guess at this point. Perhaps that's going to be where the drive-through pharmacy is going to be located. Who knows? The 3 shapes in the middle of the building, I'm assuming, are for the support columns for the roof. And if you're trying to figure out where this CVS is at, it's at the corner of Warm Springs Avenue and Marsh Bend Trail. About a mile to the west of CVS is where they're building Fire Station number 46. This is a little smaller than the Fire Station 48 down at the corner of Marsh Bend Trail and Central Parkway. This station is designed to hold only 2 vehicles. But they are making quick progress of it, that's for sure. Moving just a little bit to the southeast, we'll take a look at the work happening along the south edge of the turnpike. First up is a look at the Live Oak Pitch and Putt Golf Course. It's greening up very nicely. They still have a lot of work to do on it, but I would guess it will probably be open sometime around early fall. But that may be complicated with the building of the Saint-Tropez Recreation Center. It doesn't look like they've started on it at all. We still haven't figured out what's this crazy dock all about. And at the end of one of the docks, there's no end rail. But just beyond the end of it, there are 2 poles out in the water. Here's a look at the rest of the Live Oak Pitch and Putt. And then we're going to turn to the south and we'll get a look at the Laurel Oak 9 while we hear from my friend Jeff at Village Air Filters.
Hi, I'm Jeff Monash with Village Air Filters. Are you tired of wasting money on throwaway paper air filters? I can save you money with my lifetime permanent washable air filters. Just buy it once and never buy another air filter again. Rinse it out and then just slide it right back in. My filters are custom made in the US and they have a lifetime warranty. Give me a call at 352-388-1230 or visit my website at villageairfilters.com.
As we turn to the west, we get a good look at the village of Edenfield. They're laying in all the water mains and storm drain mains for this new community. It's still a long way off from building homes, but they are starting to do some of the layouts for the lot lines. Off in the distance at the top of the screen, where these large retention ponds are, you can see parts of the Woodlands Golf Course that is being worked on now. Once again, I want to apologize for the lack of the locator maps in this video, but rest assured, they'll be back for the next video, now that I've figured out how to get my telemetry data that I need for the maps. We're now on the south side of Bexley Trail, and that's the Southern Oaks Bridge up in the top left-hand corner. They've been doing a lot of work in this area. They've been putting in the retention ponds and hauling away a huge amount of dirt to the stockpile yards. If you look carefully, you can see some of the ponds are already starting to fill. Up ahead, you can see an area where they've come across a huge deposit of this red clay. That's being hauled over to the stockpile yard that I showed you when we looked at Shadybrook. Another thing to notice is the green stripe. That's the location of the Sable natural gas line that runs through this area. Here you can see the caravan of dump trucks taking the loads of this clay over to the stockpile yard just south of Shadybrook. While this area is still probably 2 years away from homes being built, it does show you the tremendous amount of work that's involved and the huge workforce that's employed out here to make this community happen. This is a major economic driver for Sumter County and the surrounding counties. This growth is so critical to our local economy, and I'm a firm believer in the adage, what doesn't grow dies. As I fly back towards the traffic circle, you can see that McNeel Road ends here. But we're going to pick it up in the next segment a little bit farther south. This is McNeel Drive looking north from Central Parkway. As we go up, we'll fly a little bit to the northeast, and we can see off in the distance another of the Gibson utility wells and storage facilities, just like the one we saw over in Moultrie Creek. I'm not sure what this staging and production area here is. At first I thought maybe concrete or asphalt, but it doesn't look like the typical concrete plant, and you don't see the tar trails that you normally see with an asphalt plant. So I'm not sure what it is. Looking a little farther to the left, we see the Gibson water storage facility, and here's that big deposit of red clay once again. There was another big deposit of this red clay on the other side of the turnpike where the Franklin Recreation Center is and the pitch and putt golf course is located. This large open area is where the Wellness Village is scheduled to be built. What the status of that is anybody's guess. Last I heard, they were still negotiating a contract for a new hospital in this area. Crossing across the top of the screen, you can see the temporary road for County Route 470, and just beyond it you can see the old County Route 470. Much of the old County Route 470 has now been removed, and you can see along the top edge of the screen that they're working to develop that land also. The roadbed for McNeel Drive is coming back into view. McNeel Drive, as I said earlier, will continue south for quite a ways and then turn west, and it will come out to County Road 471 just over a mile north of where 471 and County Road 48 cross. This is back where we started, at the traffic circle at McNeel Drive and Central Parkway. We'll venture to the west now on Central Parkway and take a look at Eastport and Middleton and the work going on in these locations. This is Corbin Trail on the north side of Eastport. I have no idea what this building is, but here is the Farragut ball fields. You can see they've started to build the dugouts and the concession stand area in the middle of the ball fields. They've got the red clay down, so things are progressing there. We're going to venture now over to look at the new recreation center, the Olympia Recreation Center. They're making huge progress on it. The walls are up on the athletic building, and they've started to do the roof on the main building. The roof design on the main building is interesting. It's reminiscent, in my opinion, of one of the old European churches, the way the roof peak is laid out. But I could be wrong. The Olympia Recreation Center looks to be a lot larger than the typical regional recreation center, with a lot more rooms and space available. The indoor athletics facility is definitely going to be a nice addition to the area. Building 12, or the new sales office, is definitely huge, a lot bigger than what we've seen in Brownwood and Lake Sumter Landing. If you haven't noticed, I've got a new advertiser, Surf and Turf Home Inspections. Tom Stevens is the owner, and they do all forms of inspections on your home, whether it's insurance, new home, annual inspection, you name it. Give them a call and they'll help you out. Sunset Island is really coming along, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. They've got this maze almost of sidewalks at the far end of the island. It'll be interesting to walk around in that. I'll probably get lost. The one thing I haven't been able to determine is along the waterfront if they're going to have a rail along this lower edge. If not, I can see a few people taking a dip in the lake after having a few too many to drink. This area is finally starting to make some sense. With the addition of the stairs that you see at both ends and in the center, it's obvious that this is meant for some place for people to stand or sit during one of the dragon boat races. At the north end of Bar Boulevard, this is where the entertainment area is going to be located, where the bands will play. Just to the west is where the Eastport Hotel will be built. It doesn't look like there's much work happening here yet, but I'm sure it won't be much longer and they'll be getting started. Just south of the Eastport Hotel is the Eastport Driving Range. As I fly over the waterfront, you can see just how big this area is and how much potential it has. To go from the hotel all the way up to the ball fields is a massive open area where they'll be able to hold all kinds of different events. I, for one, can't wait to see what they have in store. This is looking north into Eastport. As we go up, we're going to pass over the area where I believe a grocery store is going to be built, right here in this area. It hasn't been officially disclosed yet, nor has the brand of store that's coming there. This looks like another multi-purpose field like they have up at Everglades. We can also see the pickleball and tennis courts that are going in. Interestingly, very little, actually almost nothing, has been said of the stores and restaurants going in Eastport. We do know of a bank, a medical facility, and the Villages golf cart store, but that's about it. They have mentioned that it's going to have kind of a European theming and a mid-century modern theming, and the European theming shows up here in the way these buildings are laid out, with kind of lots of little alleyways and nook and cranny areas for small shops and restaurants. We'll go down the waterfront again, and then I'm going to take a nice low-level flight right down the middle of Bar Boulevard through these buildings. There really are a lot of buildings under construction here. This is quite the project. As we go down Bar Boulevard, take a look at the fronts of these buildings. Each section of the building has a different kind of facade, kind of like you'd see in an older downtown area. This is the new Villages Health building. They're doing a lot of interior work on it now. And as we round the corner, this is a new Citizens First Bank. And just beyond is the Villages golf cart store. Some interesting features that I saw on this, specifically this ramp. It goes all the way up, and there are two stairwells at opposing corners of the building. Is this going to be where they store golf carts? You also see the foundations for 6 posts. I don't know if those are for lights or some sort of canopy. Heading over to this traffic circle, this is where Bexley Trail and Central Parkway meet. Bexley Trail is now open all the way down to the Shallow Creek Country Club golf course. Here we can see the northern part of the village of Water's Edge. Work starting on homes in Water's Edge seems a little more distant now, with WellPoint and Richmond both being under construction. We'll get a nice high-level view of Eastport, and you can get a feel for just how big this facility is going to be. It is definitely going to be the biggest town square of them all, or at least for the very near future. Earlier I said this end of the island looks kind of like a maze. Well, I think I'm wrong. It looks more like somebody was doodling on a piece of paper and the architects took him seriously. This is fire station number 48. It's at the intersection of Marsh Bend Trail and Central Parkway. It's a very large fire station. And as we back up and turn around, we start looking at the Bel Air Executive Golf Course. And to the north of it is the village of Lakeview. We'll get a better look at that in just a minute. This is really going to be a very picturesque golf course, this Bel Air course, with the way the water runs all the way through it around all 9 holes. It is definitely a very beautiful course, and it looks like it's also going to be ready sometime this fall. They're making a lot of progress on the golf courses down in this area. This is the Bel Air Starter Shack, and on the right, this is the building that's going to support the driving range. And we'll fly down the middle of the driving range. It's starting to green up. Hopefully sometime around the first of the year, this will also be open. This is the putting and chipping area for the Golf Academy. We'll take another look. Now we're looking back at Shadybrook and Moultrie Creek. We'll rotate around and we'll get a nice overview of the village of Lakeview along Central Lake. Every time I think I'm getting my Ouija board tuned in, the developer comes out and does something different and breaks it. I have no idea when the homes in Lakeview will actually start selling or even being built. This is the grain silo at the entrance to Middleton. Now we know what it finally looks like. I'm going to take a nice low-level flight now, and we're going to get a look at all the buildings under construction here in Middleton. I think I may have drove the guard crazy that's at the little guard shack here, but hey, they don't own the airspace. All my flights were legal. While this is actually just a few large buildings, the way they've done the facades for each storefront makes it look like different buildings along the street. Just like I said earlier with Eastport, like it used to look in a much older town. In a recent issue of the Daily Sun, they mentioned about a dozen different places that are coming to Middleton. They didn't name many names, only the ones like Four Rivers and Victory Family Sports Grill. But they did make some generalizations. It was either an ice cream store or a donut store, and several other restaurants, and a coffee shop. So there's a lot coming here in the very near future. And yes, Middleton will be open to everyone and will be golf cart accessible from the rest of the villages. On the corner here is FMK Restaurant's Victory Family Sports Grill. And as we rotate around, on the opposite corner, this is where the Four Rivers restaurant is going to be. And under these canopies, and in this building with the arches, is where Middleton 24 restaurant is going to be. Okay, that's about all we really know for sure. This is some office space from what I understand. Back here at the corner of Randy McDaniel Drive and Landstone Boulevard will be the Middleton Hotel. In this large open lot is where a grocery store is going. Which one, we still don't know yet. Nothing's been announced. and up ahead is the coffee shop. Nobody knows who's going in there. Nothing is being built out on the inside, but the exterior building definitely looks complete now. We'll head east now on Randy McDaniel Drive and then come on back and look at all the storefronts or the buildings that are being built on Randy McDaniel Drive. If you're building a custom home here in the Villages and you can't be here to watch it, go to my website goldwingnut.com and take a look at the packages I offer to photograph, video, and monitor the construction of your new home for you. Please be sure to support my sponsors. Without their help, these videos simply wouldn't be possible. And don't worry if you miss their contact information. It's all available in the ending credits in about 30 seconds after this segment ends. This storefront with the green striped canopy looks a lot like an ice cream shop to me. This is the children's splash area under construction. As this video comes to an end, once again I'd like to remind you as always, enjoy life to its fullest, embrace the good things, let the bad things go, don't dwell on them. Life is much too short, we're all at the end game, and we don't know what the next day will bring. I'm Don Wiley. Have a great day.